Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Oh, yeah. Finally, Christ. Thank you. You know, that getting out of yourself, trying to get caught up in the hoopla, I'm sitting there hyperventilating, is very, very challenging. Michaeline, grateful alcoholic. I want to thank the committee. I want to thank Debbie. I want to thank Jim and Sarah. I want to thank the basket people. I want to thank the podium maker and the strong-armed guards at the door, you know. I've never committed a felony, but that definitely got me in the mode, you know. I'm just like, I'm menopausal. It's a disease all in itself, and I'm telling you, I'm already hot, so. How do you say menopausal and sign? It even looks bad there, doesn't it? Spiritual speaker, focus, focus, focus. Okay, oh God. I want to welcome the newcomers, and I want to thank the old-timers. And Colleen, I hope you're here next year. We got to meet one of the new people yesterday, and it absolutely made my whole weekend because she had 11 hours. And we are the only people that are going to get excited about her 11 hours. I'm telling you right now. And I came here with 11 hours, and you guys clapped really, really loud, and it's probably the one reason I joined. This is so loud. Whew. I'm really not deep enough to be spiritual, so this is going to be a stretch this morning, I can tell you right now. Thinking. It is an awesome conference. You guys did such a great job. We've had a ball. I want to thank my girlfriend Susan for being my guest this weekend. Then she does something at the speaker dinner Friday night and says she's my arm candy, and then everybody's been looking at me funny the rest of the weekend. So I want to thank you for that. That put me at ease. And our other guest speakers went out of their way to make me feel uncomfortable. And his speakers really want the other speakers to suck, you know, so they want a big stack of the other speakers' CDs and theirs stay empty, you know, so I know Walt and Mary, mine are going to go well, I'll tell you right now. Know these people. I read 2 books. One's black, one's blue. And the black one says his house has many mansions. And what a mansion's about in that black book is a place to serve God and others, where we fit. Where we fit. And AA is like God's mansion for special ed. And we fit. I fit here. This is my home. This is what I'm about. This is what I do because I fit here. And the other place I really, I wanted to say something because I'm going to be not organized, but whatever. I talked to all 4 of my kids over the last few days, and they are from age 29 to age 41. And they take my breath away. They're so incredible because AA really helped raise them. And I talked to them before I talked to just tell them how much I appreciate them hanging in there with me. I have 8 grandchildren that are incredible people that think I'm a regular grandma. And they're from age 2 to 23, and they've never seen me pick up a drink. June 30th, 1982, I got here. God dropped me off here because he felt sorry for me. He will do for you what you cannot do for yourself when you don't know what to do and you don't know where to go, and he dropped me off with you. And for that, I am eternally grateful. And I grew up in Phoenix, and I was thinking about that this morning. Whenever I go over to Scottsdale, I always go a couple days early. And the reason I always go by myself, and I go there so I can go to my house and my church and my school, and I can see statues. And I grew up at St. Agnes, and there's statues, and that church looks exactly the same as it did in 1950. The same statue, same pew, same crummy bathroom door for the girls' side, and all the little chapel bell thing, that we do in the mirror. And I grew up there. And if you're a neurotic person, like I am, and you're going to Catholic school and you don't fit in your skin and you already know it. It's not paranoia when it's true. And you haven't had a drink yet to feel better, what you're going to do is basically become a nun. That's what we did. Dressed up like little nuns in little nun suits, and we prayed, and I liked rosaries and statues and candles and sin and confession and sin and confession. I mean, I was into all of it. And I really was going to be a nun. And our order was the Blessed Virgin Mary. We called them BVMs. And I don't talk much about my childhood because I'm not even sure if it's still real true, because it's changed so much over the years. But what I am sure is true is I could have been raised by Jesus, Mary, and Joseph or the Charles Manson family. It did not matter. Here's something wrong with me. And so one of the things that happened, though, is I liked what Marty was saying last night about that perception thing because, okay, here I go. I'm ironing my hair. My hair is really like Little Orphan Annie. And I'm sitting there this morning, get up at 3 in the morning to straighten it. That's a lot of work. In the 50s, they don't have foo-foo stuff for your hair, and you got to bend over the ironing board, and one of your girlfriends will iron your hair if it's naturally curly. And I have burn marks on my scalp from trying to get my hair straight. I thought my dad hated my hair. And what I found out before he died was he loved my hair. He hated the crap I did to it. I know crap wasn't on the spiritual list for the meeting, but I'm staying away from the other stuff, so this is good. So my perception was, if he didn't like my hair, was that he hated my guts and he wished I was dead. That's what that means. I don't like your hair. I hate your guts. I wish you were never born. I could kill you in your sleep, but I probably won't. That's how I heard things. So I don't know. I mean, all the people are dead now, but I'm thinking it probably wasn't as bad as I thought at the time. But it was bad in my mind, which means it was bad. And I was trying to get away. And one of the ways to get away, if you're Catholic, is go be a nun. So that was the plan. And then they have this mother house thing you do if you're older, and you go to the mother house and stay a virgin. I don't know. I never figured out the point of the mother house, but it's through the formative years so that you, I think, stay a virgin. I didn't make it. Because I went to my first party where there were no nuns present, and at 14, and I had my first drink. And it was not a good night, if you know what I mean, and the next day I couldn't be a nun. As we share in a general way. But walla walla, you know. And I had a backup plan. I mean, if you're a good alcoholic, you have a backup plan, and you have a backup plan to your backup plan. And my backup plan became the next day I was going to quit school and become a go-go dancer. And so that's what I did. When you're 14, $4 an hour cash, and wearing slinky crap, you know, I can't say any of the words I would typically use. Adjectives, spiritual adjectives. Sleazy. There's one. Sleazy outfits. And dancing in a bar called the Pirate's Den. Oh, yeah. Really hot. And I was cut out for cash, but I wasn't cut out for the go-go life, And this is what I think I thought. I grew up from the 50s watching Mother Knows Best and Father Knows Best and all of the little happily ever after families that slept in twin beds and never had sex. The police never came to the door, and nobody did bad things. And I really kind of got off on that. Donna Reed was my idol. And I got to be honest with you, Friday night I turned on A&E Biography, and did anybody see that? Donna Reed? I'm like, I think it's a God thing. I'm watching her on TV this Friday night, and I love her. She's dead. But pearls and good. She had pearls and she was good. And what I decided to do with my go-go money was to go be like a Donna Reed person. And I knew you had to get a husband and a puppy and a baby and make meatloaf. And so at 15, I came to California, got a sailor, had a baby, made a meatloaf, got a puppy, and I did that all by myself. How weird is that? I mean, I look at 15-year-olds today and I think, what was I thinking? But what I was thinking is being a kid would stress me out. I don't know if you had a relaxed childhood, but I was tense, pensive, overwhelmed with just being young. It's very hard to just be this neurotic and watch other people not being so neurotic, because of course we judge our insides by their outsides, and you all look fine today. But there are people sitting out there that are screwed up. I know you're out there. Not the only one here. And my idea of a marriage is you find a good-looking alcoholic with potential and marry him. Make them a meatloaf, understand them, and support them, no matter what bad things they do. And forgive them, and let them feel guilty, and then get a couch, and then forgive them. Take you on a vacation, then forgive them. So I kind of did the Al-Anon work it thing for a lot of years. I'll forgive you, but this is really going to be hard. Maybe if I get away for a little while, and then I get to go on a trip. I kind of liked it. It worked for me. And I had periodic episodes of drinking, which I called Al-Anon breaks. You know, when they drive you to drink, and that's the only thing. They're having such a good time. I thought I just wanted one night out once a year. My biggest obsession in those days was being a Girl Scout leader and a soccer mom and a president of Bobby Stocks and PTA and doing all those things that a normal, regular mom would do. That was my goal. And I did that. I never went to high school, but I didn't think college was as stressful, so I went to that for a while. And then I got a job in an emergency room, and I had a stethoscope and stuff. It was pretty important. I was not qualified to do what I was doing because I've always lied on resumes, but whatever. You know, they didn't have computers then. You said you did it, they believed you. I'd read a book, try to learn really quick before I started the job. It doesn't look that hard to me, which was kind of my motto. How hard could it be? And I about wore myself out trying to be a legitimate person with me at the center. I'm not a legitimate person. I'm not even a legitimate person today. This is really what I'm like. I've been around legitimate people. They're very relaxed being themselves. You know, there's a comfort level in who they are. Never had that. Not till now. So I was wearing myself out doing good deeds, doing good things for a good reason to be a legitimate person because that's what I wanted to do. And it was a periodic, and he'd drink, and I'd forgive him, and then everything would be wonderful, and then we'd go on a trip, and la, 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 la. And that's really what it was like. And unfortunately, he had a problem with drinking. And he wouldn't go do what you guys are supposed to do when you have a problem with drinking, and that's quit and be good. Wouldn't do that. So one day I made him leave, and I was done. I was done being forgiving. He was wrecking my happily ever after family. And I said, we're done. It's over. No more. And I sat there and I realized I had a mortgage and these kids and a front lawn that the neighbors were going to see. I never cared that much about the backyard because who's going to see it? And I was focused on everything, and I know that I had a sense of I could do this. But I'd had a lot of kids. And it was a lot harder than I thought. I don't know if you've ever tried to do it, but that was like hard. There was not enough money. So I had to get into creative financing, you know, and now they arrest people for some of the things I was creative with, but I just, you know, get a plan, make it work. Don't let them see you sweat. I didn't not want anybody to know it was a struggle. There was already a lot of shame for me being the only divorced person in La Mesa that had a failed marriage. And I knew I was the only one. And I wanted it the most, so I couldn't see why it didn't work out. I didn't understand alcoholism. Didn't get it. And I'd have these episodes. And then all of a sudden, I got more episodes. If you have the progressive disease of alcoholism, it's going to take you where you didn't plan to go. I did not plan this story. I would have never done that. To myself or my family, I would have never done that. It's not good. But I didn't know I had alcoholism then. I thought I was having a little wine with the neighbor after work to relax, to do what I call the second shift. And that's where you do laundry and get the kids to dance and ballet and whatever, and and you're just relaxing a little bit. And it was good wine, and we used a glass, and the whole thing was kosher. But I come from 5 generations of alcoholics. I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. And all of a sudden, which I didn't even like wine that much, but it grows on you. I don't know if you've ever drank wine, but a smooth wine, a good wine. But I acquired such a taste for good wine that my girlfriend then started buying wine in a box for me. She was drinking good stuff because she'd have a glass or two. I'm like, a spigot was good. Starting to really get relaxed after work. This is very relaxing. I don't know if you've ever drank before, but it will definitely relax you. And it relaxed me and became my friend. It's a helper. That's all it is. It's a tool to use. something was happening to me that I didn't know, but now I see, in that I was crossing a line where I had different set of needs, and it fixed me, and I liked that, and I was grateful for it, and I would get a renewed sense of hope when I drank. If you've taken a third step, and it's kind of you got it, what happened to me when I took mine was I knew something I'd never known before, and I could feel it in my gut, and I had hope and a sense of direction, and I knew something, and I couldn't describe it, but anybody that had had it happen knew what I was talking about. And that's what booze did for me. It fixed it. When you don't know what it is. I thought it was him. But he'd been gone for a couple years, so it must not have, I don't know. I thought it was like post-traumatic stress, you know. I was still blaming him for everything. It was either his fault or something he created that later created it. And all of a sudden I didn't want to drink around the kids because their alcoholism with their dad had been kind of problematic. And so I didn't know that I was going to leave my children right after work to go have a drink, because that is not what a good mom would do, right? But a good mom that wants to relax so she can do a better job when she gets home, that was what I was going to do. I have bad alcoholism. I had no idea it was going to turn out this way. If I would have known about bottoms, I would have hit a higher bottom. I think it's more chic to hit a higher bottom. I didn't know about bottoms. I just went all the way. And what happened was it wasn't helping quite as much as it had initially, which is why we switched to something else. And then we have to drink a little bit more because this amount that used to fix everything doesn't fix it anymore. And pretty soon I'm consuming a lot. And I got away from wine at that one point because I was starting to get some physical symptoms of too much fruit in your diet. It's gastric. I won't go into details, but I thought there's way too much. I'm taking way too much fruit every day. It's like grapes and raisins and prunes all mixed up together, but I'm going to get away from this. And I started drinking Bloody Marys. Because Bloody Marys is kind of like a breakfast thing. You can start earlier. They have always okayed, put their stamp of it's okay to drink in the morning if you go to brunch on Sunday. And I'm like, I'm a brunch every day kind of person. You know, why wait till the weekend? And so I started drinking a little earlier in the day, like 6 a.m. But it's okay if you have Bloody Marys because that's kind of a breakfast thing, you know. And if you put celery in it, which I did twice, it's kind of healthy. And I had to quit drinking those because of all that sodium. There's a lot of salt in Bloody Mary mix and on the rim, and there's a lot in there. And I was starting to have physical symptoms of too much sodium. So now I can't have that much fruit, I can't have that much sodium, you know, and I'm kind of health conscious. So I'm trying to watch what I'm putting into my body, you know. And the kids who had initially supported me going out to take a break were now incredibly curious about me coming home from time to time. And if you have kids like mine, they got really selfish the last year of my drinking. Dinner, homework, help me be here. You know, I can't take that pressure. You know, I thought, who? And they don't appreciate you. It's not like, you know, they're having parties for you or anything. I thought, I'm not racing home to that. And you guys need to be more independent. You know, I'm not making a meatloaf every night. Call and get pizza. I need to relax before I come home. And what started happening, because I have the progressive disease of alcoholism, is pretty soon I wasn't getting home till 3 or 4 in the morning. And I needed to be at the hospital at 7, which I needed to get up, get sick to my stomach, put ice on my eyes from too much sodium probably, and Typically throw up one more time, get that done, and then put on sunglasses and walk in. Try to be on time because, you have a responsible position. And it was exhausting. This is tiring. It's a lot to do. And then if you're powerless and you swear to God double Bible, you're going home and your car turns left anyway, and you're sitting there with a drink in your hand at the bar that now knows your name. It's a little dark, which is better lighting for me. I'm like, just get me there, and then I'll go home. Every day. Then I realize 5 o'clock's too late to drink. I'm going to start drinking at work and keep it in my desk in Tupperware, which is kind of a mommy thing to do, Tupperware, My kids were showing signs. 2 weeks before I got sober, and sometimes I forget this, my oldest son, who's now 38, he was doing the Terry Cole Whitaker thing out in Coronado, coming home with affirmations. And he was putting them over my bed with thumbtacks, which is pretty freaky if you're dying from alcoholism, and you look up. And this one, it was kind of big, and it said, God is my source. I thought, this crap's got to stop. There's holes in the wall. This kid is so neurotic, and it's freaking me out. But I'm Catholic to the core, and I was afraid to take it off because you'd get zapped for that. So I'm leaving everything up there, but I'm trying not to look. I'd had acute alcohol poisoning for 3 months, which is not good. I couldn't eat. My face was puffy. My nose hurt. My throat was starting to show signs because I get so sick because I drink so much. And sometimes you have to get sick in the middle of drinking so you can finish drinking. I mean, the whole thing's exhausting. I'm tired. And the God of the source thing and the pen and the wall and the whole thing, and the kids are starting to, I was just, woo. And what I decided to do, I think it was that morning, and I was drinking and thinking, because I know I can figure this out. I just don't know exactly what's wrong, what happened. I kept switching things. I'd even switched to beer, which I hated. Beer is bad. Beer smells bad. I switched to that at the end because I wanted to cut down on my drinking. And the first one I drank, I could barely choke it down. I had salt on the rim, 1 green olive, a little bit of ice, and I still could barely drink it. A couple weeks before I got sober, hot Budweiser in a can, no problem. Cigarette butts optional. I'm okay with this, I need a drink. I don't really care. So I plan on my death, but I want to look good when I die, which I don't look good alive, but I want to look good when I'm dead, so I'm going to pay all the bills, get the laundry done, straighten some things, clean out my desk in my office, and virtually kind of go out on a winning streak. And somehow in alcoholic crazy, I realized that if all of that was done, I might not want to be dead. So glad I didn't do that one, Why would I want to be dead? It sounds like a great life. Couldn't pull it together anymore. I couldn't even pretend to have it together. It was over. And I was wrecking everything, and I knew it, and I couldn't stop because I didn't know about you guys. I didn't know. I thought I'd gone bad. I didn't know I had alcoholism. Alcoholism is ugly. June 29th, 1982 was my regular birthday. I was still young, perky, and firm, a little worn out, but whatever, And the kids are all standing around the bed doing the happy birthday breakfast with the happy birthday song really, really loud. I'd only been home for an hour and a half. I'm not feeling good. And they're screaming the happy birthday thing, trying to get me to engage. And I couldn't engage. Even for them. They used to be everything in my life that made my life worth living, and now I cannot engage. I can't even pretend anymore. I kind of drank into that I don't care zone, which is peaceful until You get glimpses of you care. And I had a glimpse of that morning. It kind of wore me out. But I said I wouldn't drink all day, and sorry I wrecked the morning, but we'd pull it together by night. We'll go to dinner. I'll write a check, whatever. But I can't go all day without a drink because I have alcoholism and it's bad and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's like 2 hours later, I'm sitting at the bar, justified. It's my birthday. You know, I'm the breadwinner. Well, father doesn't pay child support. Why shouldn't I? Everybody else does what they want on their birthday. Why can't I? Where's Shout coming up with all this? But I was able to do it and go. And I came out of a blackout, and I didn't know where I was, and I didn't know where the kids were, and that had never happened. It was a bad night. It was one of those brownout days where you wish it would have been a complete blackout, but oh no, you're getting glimpses of what happened. I hated that. And what I did was when I came to in the middle of the night, I asked God, I said, if you're there, which I had no real basis for knowing anymore, I said, if you're there, you better do something because this is bad. This is so bad. And then I sat in a room where I didn't know I was till I pieced it all together, and some friends had gone to rescue me from the bar, carry me out, put me in the car, go home and get my children, take us all to their house, put me up in their guest room. The kids were all sacked out in their family room. And I'm looking around at this, and I knew. I didn't know what to do, but I knew to say some pathetic prayer that I wasn't even sure if anybody was listening. And what God did for me, which is kind of cool, is he felt sorry for me because I did not know what to do. And the next thing I knew, he gave me the idea to call AA. And the next thing that happened was a lady named Flo was going to 12-step me. And the next thing I knew, I was going to tell her the truth. I hadn't been honest about anything with anybody because I don't want you to know how I think and feel and what's really going on. I don't want you to know that. And so I tell this woman everything. I tell her everything. I mean, it's blah, 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 blah. And she doesn't hang up. No bad things happen. She says, I'm going to take you to be an AA. It'll be perfect. And it'll be okay. And I promise. And I want you to call me today before you drink. I'm never drinking. I'm going to be an AA. I will be an AA. I'm in AA. I'll be an AA. Whatever that meant, you know, I'm in. And 2 hours later, you realize you've overreacted. You've given them your address. They're coming to get you. They got the watch going, you know. They have a team, much like we did to you yesterday. The team began. Let's get her books. Let's get addresses, phone numbers. Let's overwhelm her. Drink orange juice. Have some honey. Eat candy. No, I mean, sorry. I don't know. I got carried away. But that's what they did for me. So I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to make it till tonight. You know, I'm going to have to call her and drink and then be an AA. So I called her because they don't say you can't drink. They say call before you drink, which I thought meant you can drink, but they want you to check in first. You know, call before you drink. You're going to get to drink, but they don't. They talk you out of it. And you go, no, I don't want to drink. I want to be an AA. This is good. Drinking's bad. I'm in AA. Okay. Phew. Okay. 2 hours later, it hits again. It's like labor pains, you know. And you think you're okay, and not you, and I'm calling, and I'm gonna, and it's just exhausting. It was long. Finally, I thought, this is not going to work for me. I can't be an AA and not drink. I mean, I'm just too edgy. You know, I'm going to have to drink and be an AA. And I mean, that's fine. Being an AA sounded like a good thing. And so what I did was, 5 o'clock, I'm coming out of my skin. I have acute alcohol poisoning. I need a drink. My skin hurts. I'm itchy. Everything's bad. It's a bad, bad thing. And I'm going to call her, and I'm going to say to her, I am going to drink, no matter what you talk me out of. No, I have wine. And I'll still be an AA, swear to God, I promise. What came out of my mouth, because I'd already gotten a fit spiritual condition with that first phone call. That's all it takes around here. Fit spiritual condition, trust me, is not what you think it's going to take. You make a call, you got one. Because what came out of my mouth is, if you don't come here and be with me right this minute, I'm not going to get to be an AA and hurry. And they're like waiting outside your door. She's sitting I know she's out there in her car waiting, because she's there in 2 minutes, watching me, babysitting me, being with me so I can be an AA. And I felt better when she got there. I don't know why. I mean, physically I was detoxing. It wasn't a good day. I was very scared and nervous and edgy. But she walked in and I felt like I could do it. And she took me to my first meeting, which was Thursday night, Channel Road, Lakeside. And some guy said his name was Joe and he had 30 days. I said, oh my God, you got to say your name. You're an alcoholic. How long? And I said, I'm Michaeline. I'm an alcoholic and I've been sober 11 hours. Well, they loved it. Had no idea they were so into the hour deal around here. But they're totally turned on by this, and I mean, they're clapping really, really loud, big, for me. So I added, not trying to be funny, but serious, I was awake too. Because I want credit for the whole 11 hours. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sleeping and sober. I'm awake and sober 11 hours, people. Clap some more. And if you're like me, you'll join. This is the only show in town for proud of you. They were very proud of me. They were very impressed with this. They know how long 11 hours is without a drink when you need a drink. They know that. They're very proud of you if you still have some at home and you didn't and you made the call first. They're totally into me, which is kind of my deal, I thought, finally. And I said, okay, after the meeting, I have no idea what happened to the meeting, but how do you make it overnight? Because I have now, I have to go overnight now. This is going to be a lot longer. And then in the morning, I'm going to wake up probably. I had no idea I probably wouldn't sleep much that night, so it was going to be a long night and feel good. The next day I'm on the phone and they're going to take me to a meeting and take me to be an AA, and that's how it started for me. Long, very long days, obsessed with not drinking. First I was obsessed with drinking, now I'm obsessed with not drinking. Being an AA, this is going to be really hard. A couple weeks later, I'm sitting at this job. It was a big job with big papers and a big desk and big responsibilities, of which I wasn't qualified to do any of it. I have no idea how I got that job. I'm not qualified to do any of this. It looks very impressive, though. I must have done some of it in a blackout. Holy Jesus. So I walk into the director and I said, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm in AA now. I have to leave. This is really hard. And she's like, what? Oh, yeah, I've been drinking at work. I have Tupperware and gin. I'm very bad. I'm in AA now. And I'm going to have to leave. She goes, take the day off. Go, I said, oh, no, I'm quitting. I have to quit now. I'm going to be an AA. I see no way I'm going to be able to work. I have to focus on being an AA. It's very hard. So these people at work and get sober, I'm very impressed, but not me. I'm in my mental patient rocking chair, 180 miles an hour, rocking, going nowhere. I'm in AA. I don't drink. They said I can make coffee. The kids are going, what are you doing? I said, can't work. I'm in AA now. No way I can handle all of that. I have to be in AA. Can you take us to school? Not going to be able to. Absolutely not right now. I need some time to be an AA. But I said, rest assured, they only have 2 books, not a big program. And 12 things they want you to do, I can knock it out in a week. It doesn't look that hard. And I said, I just need to regroup here. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'll get back to work. And their dad was sober at the time with Terry Cole Whitaker out in Coronado, and he's living out there, and the kids go, we're going to go for a couple weeks. I said, okay, I'm going to be in AA, and then I'll call you. Well, for me, I wasn't better in 2 weeks. The other thing that I appear to have an aversion to when I'm drinking is opening mail. Mail's sad. I mean, I'm not getting a bunch of good news in the mail, and I don't want to open it and bum myself out. Can't possibly give them any of my money. I'm going to need that for something. So apparently one of the pieces of mail that came that they were holding at the post office was, we'd like your house back. We don't want to stress you out. You know, obviously don't want to pay for it. And so I'm like, okay, take the house. I'm going to be in AA. I don't think I really need a house or a job. I'll figure that out later. Give me a couple more weeks. Another piece of mail. You're not going to need the car, are you? Another piece of mail. We're going to auction off all your things that you just put in storage. And I couldn't function. I can't function sober. Sober stresses me out. Sober makes me very nervous. Sober is very real, and it's every day, and it's all the time, and you got to feel everything all the way through and make decisions. And I don't know if you've ever done it, but it about wear you out, you know. Drunk is not that stressful. Drunk is nothing to me. Drunk I'm good at. Drunk does not represent stress. Sober represents stress. That's why I try to stay drunk. And I'm looking around, calling the kids one more time before they take the phone, too, and just telling them I'm not going to be able to, you know, you're going to need a couple more weeks. You're going to need a couple more weeks. And pretty soon they're getting me a red camping trailer. I thought it was going to be a mobile home, which I didn't really want. I'm from La Mesa, but red round camping trailer with red shag carpeting and propane. And somebody brings me a Boy Schwinn paper bike, not a Bobo. And I'm in AA. Hurrah. Getting a 90-day token, trying to make it look good, and everybody's kind of smiling. Some sort of enjoyment's coming over there while they watch my life disintegrate. Keep coming back, it'll get better. Not all the time. God gives you presents in ugly wrapping paper. It's atrocious wrapping paper. You don't know it's a present from God because of the wrapping paper, but I learned early that everything I got, part of my sponsor's deal was, what a gift. And I go, ugly wrapping paper. I don't see a camping trailer as a gift. I don't see a Boy Schwinn bicycle as a gift. I don't see my kids in Coronado as a gift. I don't see being the coffee maker or the trash girl a gift. They're telling you this stuff. So I'm sitting there one night, I'm ready to die. I'm dying here, people. I am not doing better. I'm getting worse. I'm freaking out all the time. And I'm planning my death. Again, sober death, you know, different. Something says, ride your bicycle to Taco Leo's with the dimes your sponsor gave you so that you can tell her you're about to die. I mean, you owe it to her. Let her know you're not going to make it. I ride my bicycle down there. It's 10 o'clock at night. I get on the phone. I said, I'm not going to make it. I'm lonely. I need a boyfriend to be in AA with me with a car and a MasterCard, or I'm not going to make it. I was young and perky and available for service and could not get a boyfriend. You know, nothing's going on here. And she does, because she's in a house with a TV in the bedroom, which I had no TV. Talking on the phone, probably getting laid. And what she says to me is, ask God to hold you tonight. Please. Oh, my God. You know, so a lot of times you have to explain things for 2 or 3 times to your sponsor because they obviously don't get it. So I'm going through it again. going to die. I need a boyfriend. I'm dying here. This is the end. She goes, ask God to hold you tonight. No human power can make this better. I want a furry chest. I don't know about you. You know, I mean, I want to get into the God thing at some point, but I have needs. Nothing. Couldn't get anything going. I look good. I have a plasma bandage. I have a boy swing bicycle. I'm living in a camping trailer. And I can't get a date. I mean, I didn't get it. So, for whatever reason, I'm going to call it a fit spiritual condition. Again, what I did that night was I asked God to hold me and felt like a complete nutcase. I said, if you don't hold me tonight and I don't feel it, I'm going to leave a note. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to say I prayed, ask you for help. I got nothing, and that's why I'm dead. Amen. Basically, you know, this is it. You better come through. Expect a miracle is not a problem for me. I demand a miracle. And I demand it now. Because I have run this course as long as I can, and it better happen. And God apparently responded to that, because before I knew it, I felt something I hadn't felt before. I couldn't describe, except to the people who had had the experience of feeling the need of God and getting it. And I felt it, and I got it, and I needed it, and I was going to keep it. And out of that experience came this willingness to take the steps. Not to do a boyfriend deal yet. My sponsors say, you know, you're looking for Prince Charming, he's looking for a princess, and you're not one. Ow. You know, true, but ow. I mean, parking lot romance is not a self-esteem booster, you know. You have nothing to offer. So I said, okay. So I'm H&I'd out. Every panel you can be on. I'm a coffee maker. I'm a ticket girl. I'm a trash girl. I'm coffee. I'm like in doing it all. I'm riding my bicycle. Somebody got me a job making sandwiches in a deli. Ride my bicycle there. I don't know how in the hell I got through that without you, but thanks. It was a long year. What the steps started doing for me was putting me in reverse. Okay, like everything you want him to be about, you be about. You want your dad to be a good dad, you be a great daughter. I mean, you want them to recognize your truly exceptional abilities at work. You got to compliment every there after you recognize theirs. You have to parent based on principles. No manipulation, no guilt trips, this is very challenging for me. But 6 and 7 started making me different, and I started kind of feeling it. And before I knew it, the kids were coming home. And before I knew it, somebody was bringing me a car. Thank you, God. Because if you have kids, you can't do the bicycle trip, right? Carl brings me a red Pinto. Whoa, contraire. You know, I said, hey, appreciate the effort, but 1, I hate red. 2, I wouldn't drive a Pinto. So I called my sponsor. I said, you won't believe this gift. An ugly wrapping paper. Carl brought a red Ford Pinto over. And she goes, oh my God, you're kidding. I said, well, I didn't take it. I'm not taking that car. She goes, oh yeah, you are. You're going to give newcomers rides because everybody schlepped you around, you know. I said, please don't make me take the car. I've done everything you've asked. Don't make me take the car. Next day, I'm driving my red Ford Pinto. Try and take back streets. Like a plasma bandage and a bicycle isn't humiliating. I don't want to be seen in a Pinto. Went back to healthcare. Tried to do some other things and applied for about 1 million other things, but I put a little note in that black book, and I went, what do you want me doing? I'll go wherever you want me to go because I'm obliged to work to serve you and others. You are my new employer. I'm in. Back to health care. Back to a house with utilities. One of the amends I had to make, and it's kind of trippy, I had failed to register my car because that's $14 you can drink with. I'm not really going to blow the money on DMV. Who's got more than enough? I'm telling you today, I still feel the same way when I send it in, you know. It's my money. This is crap, you know. And then they send you a thing because you won't do it, and then they get what's called a failure to appear. So it's on my 8-step list. My sponsor says, you got to go clean that up. So I don't know. I'm kind of naive in those days, and I get my bond shopping bag, and I put my big book in, my pajamas, a toothbrush, and my little address book from AA, and I go to turn myself in. Old-timer goes with me, and here I stand in the court with my bond shopping bag, with my pajamas, toothbrush, and big book, because maybe I'm supposed to help somebody, but I'm willing to do the jail time on my failure to appear. So I go before the judge. I mean, you'd think it's a fix-it thing, but no, warrants. I have a warrant. I'm a criminal. So I'm standing there telling him, and my sponsor wouldn't let me use alcoholism as any reason when I made my amends, financial or otherwise. I was reckless and irresponsible was what I was instructed to say. I was a terrible person with money. I didn't really want to give you the register, and I'm here, and I'm sorry, and I'm willing to take care of it today. So I say all that she made me say. He says, $150, it's over, you know, basically. He said, oh, no, I have no money. Not going to be able to pay you. He said, well, we're going to set up monthly payments. Go talk to the person. Oh, no. Can't pay anything. You will not believe the income I have today. Used to make a lot of money, but I have nothing now. It's pathetic. Living in a thing. I'm driving a Pinto. I'm just, whoa. He says, we'll set up the payment slow. I said, I can't. I have brought my things. And I think I have a right to go to jail. I mean, I might help somebody. You know, I have to do this, and I have to do it quick, and da-da-da-da-da. You know, finally, apparently, if you act nuts enough, you know, they'll just go, dismissed. Get out. This is how a lot of my stuff went. It was just too weird. You know, the kids are home, and you guys are teaching me how to juggle brownie meetings again and going to work and being in an AA and all this stuff. Fitting in my skin and more steps and more steps and all this stuff's going on. And everybody's helping me because, you know, I need it. And my dad, it'd taken me 5 years of inventory where I could finally get to my part to make the right amends. And I was there. Telling you, I nailed it. I saw the demands I placed on him to be different. I wanted him to accept me for who I was. I wouldn't accept him for who he was. This whole thing's so weird. But I'm there. And I have a father that presides over us all, that's taking good care of me. And I just need to go be a good daughter. Tell him I'm sorry for not appreciating him, blah, 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 blah. You know, travel to Texas. Getting ready to go do it. I'm pumped. I'm there. I'm ready. This is going to be big. Unfortunately, I talked to my dead mother's sister, who decided to announce, because I said something weird like, it's like we never connected. She goes, oh, honey, that's not your real daddy. Yes, you understand how serious this is. Not in Texas, they don't care. I'm sitting there going, what? She goes, oh, honey, your mom was working in a waitress, and she says, you're a Greek or a Jew, never could remember which one. I said, I'm not German. I mean, I look like a Jew from the Bronx, but I mean, I'm thinking there are these blonde little German people all over the place. I don't look like them, but I never even crossed my mind that I wasn't German. So I go race into the Legacy Club over right outside of Houston, and there's an old-timer there that's still sober today that got sober in 1950, and Her name's Lois, and I tell her the psychodrama. I said I was gonna go make amends with it. My dad, it's not my real dad. I'm a Greek or a Jew. My mother was, woo. And she goes, honey, a daddy's a daddy. A daddy is a daddy, and you came here to clean up your side of the street. Go do that. Do it with grace and dignity. And then she announced that the little California girl had a problem, and we were going to have a meeting on acceptance, and they read page 449. Out here, you're on Oprah. In Texas, they don't care. And they did that meeting, and God just worked through them, and it was irrelevant by the time the meeting was over. No big. Tears were over, the psychodrama was over. I put on my big girl panties, and I just dealt with it. And I went and I cleaned up the wreckage. And he became an incredible dad, and I became an incredible daughter, and we got to start listening to one another. He never said he hated my hair. He hated what I did to my hair, and he certainly didn't mean he hated my guts and wished I was dead and might kill me in the middle of the night. He wanted me to let him off the hook to be somebody he wasn't. He wanted me to cut him some slack, and I was able to do that. When you're a better mom and you're a better employee and you're a better worker and you've done 5 million conventions and H&I commitments and you're still doing, almost 25 years later, everything you were taught to do in the beginning, I'm still in the middle. What will happen is the miracle happens. And as a result of these steps, I had a spiritual awakening, and I knew something I'd never known before, and I'm different. Who I am as a woman is different. Certainly still neurotic, definitely not perfect, but different, and I did have something to offer. And I met Prince Charming, and I was kind of like a screwed-up princess, but whatever. I'm only going to get so far here, I'm warning you. And Donna and I had an incredible, incredible relationship. He was my forever guy. He was my until death do us part. And death did us part. He just died one day for drill. He had gone up to L.A. to talk one night and driving home with a couple guys he sponsored, and he said, somebody else drive, and Monroe got in the front seat, and he got in the back, and he just died. It was his day to go home, and he looked good, and he felt good, and he didn't want to get elderly. Just didn't turn him on, the thought of it. And God just took him home on the day it was his turn to go. And his sponsor, Ed, came and picked me up, and we raced to the hospital, and I already knew he was gone. I could feel it. You can feel that. I knew. Because they don't want to tell you over the phone, and I'm praying all the way over there, please don't let me get in self-pity. Don't let me drink. I already knew, like I've always known since my early sobriety, how everything would turn out. It always turns out fine. It always has. It always will. I promise. I just didn't know what it was going to feel like till it turned out fine. So everybody's at the hospital. AA, he just died. There's 500 people there, and we went in to say goodbye, and I took his AA ring off, and I put it on Monroe's finger, and today when we're sitting in my home group on Sunday morning, Monroe sometimes will pick up the ring and act like it's a decoder ring, He's talking to him. And it was a hard, hard year. And what I did, what helped me, was I kept my service commitments. And I didn't want to. I'm being honest. I did not want to go make coffee. I didn't want to have the women's meeting at my house, which I still have, the night he died. It just seemed like a stretch. But what I think I knew, what I know for sure today is that if you miss your service commitments because you're too busy or too screwed up or too whatever, you're going to miss them all because there's always going to be something coming up. So I kept those. And 2 weeks after he died, I went up to L.A. to talk at the meeting that he'd been talking out that night because I wanted to be at the podium where he was. I wanted to be there. I drove his car, took some people with me who they were freaked out because they thought, what if she wants to rest and then she dies, That'd be an AA pitch, wouldn't it? We love stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm kind of weird, you know, like, please don't let me die tonight. This would be too hokey. But I shared, and I was like weird and sad and overwhelmed and grateful and all that stuff that we get. And some guy came up and said he had 2 weeks, and he'd been there the night Don talked, and it was his first meeting, and he'd heard something that he needed to hear. And then when he heard that I was going to come up, he wanted to tell me thanks for the fact that he was, I mean, it was pretty awesome. And I knew why I was keeping my service commitments, because I'm supposed to not miss the miracle. You know, expect one, but if you're not around, you're going to miss it. And I thank the old-timers so much today, because they could be home getting ready for the Super Bowl game. They've done enough meetings, trust me. They've listened to enough speakers with less time than them. They've served on these committees. They've done the steps 5 billion times. They speak on the da-da-da-da-da, and yet they know that their sobriety is contingent on a fit spiritual condition, and they're still here today. Look them up after the meeting. Go hug them. Tell them thank you. We're glad you're here. The old-timers need as much attention, if you ask me, as the newcomers. Jesus Christ, where would I be? See, that was spiritual. Mention Jesus' name. So I got through it like everybody else has gone through it, got through it, and then the next thing I know, I was 49, I'm having a couple of heart attacks. The next thing I know, having open heart surgery. My home group knows I'm pretty much allergic to flowers. They get me a lazy boy. I recover. 2 years ago, I got to hike the top of Mount Spokane with one of my granddaughters, and been to kids' college graduations, and have a girlfriend that said, I'll take Don's place, and I'll have coffee with you every morning on the phone. And now we're still doing it 7 years later. She made me laugh, made me cry, but she was there so I could talk and have contact. First thing in the morning, we had coffee together. Still doing it. I don't need to talk to her every day. I'm sure she's sick of talking to me, but we're in a rhythm. And I love her forever for doing that. I was a taker when I got here. I was a big, big taker. I needed help me. I don't get it. I'm scared. I'm not going to make it. You know I'm not going to make it. And everybody just, I mean, they've been over backwards. Who gets a red Ford Pinto? New set of dishes. Somebody to go to court with them. Somebody to teach them about the steps. I meet with the girls I sponsor once a month. And we meet at my house for breakfast. And we just do a theme every year. And last year was a tradition a month. And we did skits and stuff in my living room. And the year before that, it was grab a piece of A literature. And we hang out together. We're family. But when I come and I talk and I share my experience, strength and hope, it's changed over the years. And I came to say thank you. That's it. Thanks.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with, and it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Rip it open.
remote control is connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.